Hello, I am Yiming and I am from Doherty Valley High School. I am an incoming sophomore and my project is my MIDI controller here. So, from last time I actually had the original box right here, but I added a new box which has an LCD display on here. Now with my camera right there, you can't actually see what the text on here says, so I'm going to be switching over to my phone camera so you can see better what I actually made here. So here is my MIDI controller up close with the phone camera. As you can see, these make normal notes. Let me turn up the volume here. So you can see when I turn up the volume, it also shows up in the LCD display. And that's one of the features I added. And now you can see that when I play the notes, it's a lot louder. And it also shows up here so you know what the volume is. That's not all. As you can see, it also shows what instrument you selected. So when you change the instrument, it also shows up right here. And I added around 22 instruments, I believe. So all of these work. Now, whether or not the MIDI actually sounds good, that's not up to me. That is up to the person who made the MIDI. As you can see, this doesn't really sound like a flute, but it does work and you can switch instruments. Now for the inside of the box, as you can see, I didn't actually change much. The only real difference that I made to my original box is that I added a resistor for the 5 volts because my potentiometers crashed when it goes up to the highest value, so I added a resistor. Now my LCD display also needs a 5 volts, so I added that to the end of my resistor so that it doesn't actually receives the effects of the resistor. And I basically plug this into my 5 volts. And my LCD display also has 3 other pins, and I just plug them into my respective pins. Now for the box of the LCD display, I had to find a smaller cardboard box and I just carved it up and I shoved my LCD display inside of here and I added a hole in between here. I can't really show you because I sealed it up already, but I added a hole here so that you can connect up the wires from this box into this box. So here is my final product right here. So the code for the LCD is something that I had to, of course, add because the LCD doesn't come with its own code. So I had to import this library, which I had to find for a very long time. And also, if you didn't notice, for my volume bar, I actually had 3 different custom characters, 2 of them for the volume thing, and then the other one just being the full bars. So I had to make that as well. And I had a lot of trouble trying to figure out why my LCD wasn't working at first because it wasn't showing the things properly. But then I just found out that, well, it was just a potentiometer that changed the brightness of the LCD that I didn't even know about because it's my first time doing anything close to this. So that took me over an hour just trying to figure that out, but it was a very easy fix. And before I had the instrument return whatever number from 0 to 128, but now I limited down to 22 different instruments from 0 to 21, and I can assign these numbers to a unique instrument. It is not in order. You can do any kinds of instruments, and yeah, you can even add your own text that shows up. It doesn't have to be whatever shows up here. As you can see, I said that the clarinet is the best instrument, which it is. Now, when we try to do this on the actual music program here, okay, you can see that the notes play correctly. We have different octaves. We can change the instruments. So that's cool. We can also change the sound, the volume. As you can see, I changed the volume there. There's some other settings like reverb as well, but these are smaller things. And chorus. These are kind of small things, but that's basically the function of my MIDI controller. As you can see, it has a lot of different functions, and I basically made a piano right there. With less buttons, of course, but that's cool. And that is my final project.